Welcome, everybody, to the shittiest Zoominar on the planet, the Retireholics. My name is James Douglas Carlson. I'm joined by Mr. Chadwick Johansson, Justin McNeil, a guest to be named later, and everybody's favorite Retireholic, Robe Guy. All right,
Wow.
I think we got payroll off, so we're good. I'm going to focus on the show now. I don't quote me on that. The password got over there.
Don't quote me on that. Famous last words.
I got a little poem for everyone that I'd like to read. It's been a little while since we've done a poem, and this one's just for you, Eric. Just for you.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know how to take that, but we'll see.
Brave little Eric. Courage galore, guesting on the holics, walking straight into war. Does he know that I've talked shit about disruptors for years? Did his handlers properly research, or were they distracted by the fun and the beers? Lower fees, they say, set up in 30 minutes or less. Millions more in VC funding. That's all I hear about in the press. New tech. Smoke and mirrors, I say, when you really drill down. JD's mad, JD's sad, his jealousy shown by his frown. However, Eric, in exchange for your bravery, this promise I vow: an open mind, politeness, and good vibes for now. But let's be clear, valuable conversations demand a bit of spice. So, welcome to another episode. Now, BC, spin the wheel of ice.
Well done, JD.
Yeah.
Getting mine ready.
Oh, I say just freeze them up.
God damn it.
Hey, a little
Legit.
backstory, Chad.
Yeah.
Justin tried to tamper with the integrity of the wheel of ice today.
Oh, he's got a game tonight, doesn't he?
I don't know,
He was trying to get out of it.
That is karma in every way, shape, and form. He literally was trying to get out of the wheel of ice, and the wheel said, "Fuck you, Justin. You're
Oh,
going
man.
down."
That's fantastic.
I guess you know what? We'll just can you pump out a quick intro before you pound that down?
Sure.
All right,
Ladies and
intro our
gentlemen.
guest, Justin, and you out there in the audience, rate Justin's intro on a 1 to 10.
That might have been the best short I've ever heard.
Pretty fucking pissed off right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Phillips.
Nice.
Oh, you got
That's all I got tonight, god damn it.
Appreciate that.
All right.
Nice.
Rate him on a 0 to 10. Webby, don't put weird links in the chat bar. Let's say we're gonna play some games today, Eric. So I want to clue you in on them so you're well informed. We will be playing Chat Bar Champion. So keep your eye on that chat bar, and whoever's your favorite, you can vote them into the semifinals. And then the audience out there, you people have tuned in, you crazy little 401k freaks, you'll vote for the winner. You know how that works. And it could be anything, Eric. It could be funny, smart, whatever. We are also going to play AcroSyn. So this is important. If you use any acronym or initialism besides my name, you have to drink from your penalty drink. And we'll be letting you know. You'll see that. Little graphics will hit the screen.
Those
and
were
everything.
both sent before he said it, Mark. So don't try to call me out in the chat bar.
And I think the chat bar is going to be great. Let me ask you, Eric, at Plan Design Consultants, we call our employees PDCers.
Oh, that counts.
Oh, yeah. What does human interest call their? Is there any special name for the human interest humans?
We are all humans that have interest in retirement. No, we are employees of human interest.
Okay. That's a mouthful
Very
and not very
robotic.
creative.
We're
Anyways,
all
HIs.
back in 401, as Bill
we-
just mentioned.
I think we need to come up with something a little bit more catchy there.
yeah, maybe we
I like
could.
HIs. They're all
was
HIs.
gonna say, they're
It sounds
highs.
artificial and
Hi.
nice.
That's
Ah.
too, Chad. That's too.
Ah.
Anyways, I felt like it might be fun because if we've got some human interest peeps in the chat bar, along with some kind of industry long timers. It could be a fun little back and forth.
Hackler's
But let's
saying it's
go.
3.
Let's go straight to headlines. Brandon, headlines, if you please. Do you all know of the UK-based Smart that's coming into the United States? Damn it, United Kingdom. Smart United States of America. That's not the real name, it's the initials. Is a big pooled employer plan provider looking to kind of hit the market sometime later this year. They've got hundreds of millions of dollars behind them, just like you do, Eric. Well, guess what, people? They bought the longtime established money manager Stadion. So,
Oh shit, really?
They're making a move.
those are my exact thoughts, Chad. So kind of cool, kind of interesting.
Why?
Maybe I'll throw it straight at, I don't want to put Eric right on the spot. I'll throw it straight at you, Chad. And then Eric, you can follow up. Why might a pooled employer plan want to buy something like Stadion? Does it seem like a smart move to you?
Yes. I asked the question, why would a pooled employer plan want to buy a money manager like Stadion, a tactical money manager? Because I get that and we can get into it, but why Stadion was my question. Brand recognition has been down for Stadion. They'd partnered with other products in the past. I'm kind of surprised that that's with as much as they're coming into this marketplace, Smart United States of America. I'm surprised that Stadion was the shop they went after.
I don't know if it's entirely just for the pooled employer
Sometimes you
plan.
gotta start small.
Any thoughts on this, Eric? Were you aware of this? Does it tie into what you guys are doing?
I saw it, yeah, but I think it makes sense. It's not a surprise to have an asset management side of things, so it's good. But Stadion is surprising, but also I'm sure they got a hell of a deal on it because it's Stadion, and so if they're trying to enter in, why not go there?
I like
Nice.
this guy.
Nice. And Chad, you're so critical. I guess my nose isn't as close to the ground as yours. You're saying Stadion's brand isn't all that it used to be these
I'm
days.
saying 10 years ago, Stadion was sought after, and perhaps it's a little bit because we've been on such a bull run for a while, because Stadion touted their horns in 08, 09 being good in that bear market, but
down
they've
market.
struggled. Yeah. Which a lot of money managers have,
All,
right?
all active managers did, right? Like it's been hard because everything is up 40%. So,
But I've seen them pushed out of a number of platforms as others have come in and kind of taken over dominance in that money management side.
Well, I know our longtime show family member, Daniela Moisesisif, is over at Smart now. And so we'll bend her ear on this a little bit. But yeah, just wanted to pay attention to that. These guys are serious about this, and they're starting to put some of their puzzle pieces in place. And it'll be fun to watch it evolve.
If you're looking at coming into the States and creating a big pep, and damn it, I like these chocolates though, but they're too sweet and they take too long to open. I'm gonna have to go get a bottle of liquor.
Yeah, those don't. You know what?
It's gonna take
Fuck
longer.
you. Those don't
Just do
count,
it.
dude. They don't count.
Oh, wow.
They totally do. JD, my question would be, if you're building out a pooled employer plan, and perhaps Eric, this ends up circling back to some of our conversation for later. The first thing you're looking for, right, is payroll integrations. I have to imagine that's number one for the type of clientele they're going to be going after. Number two, I would think, would be asset management. And so it makes sense what they're trying to do. They're trying to make this easy, simple, for lack of a better term, plug and play, and going after participants that have never had access to a retirement plan and giving them a resource that will manage the money for them sounds attractive. And people will bite on that quickly.
You're pretty neutral there. I'm thinking, I get more evil thoughts, and Danielle will get mad at me, but I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to run a pooled employer plan. You know, I'm smart. We're coming to market this year, but I also want to create additional, revenue streams. And so maybe I can leverage this as some kind of
Those margins
add-on
are so thin.
where we can make some more money. But that's just me being a negative anti-capitalist, which I'm not really. Okay, let's go to the next headline. CalSavers is starting to get a little pissy. They're getting pissed off, Mark.
They are.
I made up those words. That's not really true. No, they're just saying, hey, guess what, guys? We're going to start finding people. So if
Oh,
you,
hey, guess what? You
They
said
have
you said you were gonna do that.
well, Mark,
this
now,
isn't news.
this time we're serious.
Oh,
We're sending it out
Oh,
in the
so they
mail.
thought everybody was just going to comply from the start.
yeah,
We sent
right.
out in the mail, and to recap for everyone, maybe I'll get this wrong, but I think it's a $500 per participant penalty, and then they'll hit you up the second time around for $250, getting to a total of $750. Yes, just on.
Actually, no, I got an email that the payroll went through.
Did?
Just popped up. Just popped
Did you
up.
really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yes. Okay. Good news. Good news, everyone.
The show goes on.
It does.
So yeah, CalSavers they're claiming they're going after. I think it's the 100 plus. Yeah.
It's 100 plus.
Employers. So that'll be fun to see. Imagine you got 100 employees and you get a $500 penalty. That's 50 grand. So that'll
750 at this
get
point.
someone's attention, right?
Well, and
750 at this point. And I mean, are they going to be able to track all of those businesses? There's no fucking way.
what do you mean?
Yeah,
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
dude,
It's super
yeah, it's-
simple. They
I was
have
gonna
to
say,
go
Eric-
online and comply.
Hey, now it's
They're not
super
gonna- I don't-
simple, but it's a governmental agency. We all know how
Exactly.
that
That's
Well,
rolls.
but when
what I'm getting at.
the original deadline was a year ago, you
Yeah.
know,
So 6 months ago, something like that.
6
Yeah.
months ago. So it's like, yeah,
That's-
okay. Seems about good enough time as any to start thinking about imposing some stuff.
So
Yeah, I'm
Right.
with Eric.
I'm just curious though, because I probably should do research before I ask these questions, but we're live on the show now. So obviously there's other state-run plans out there. Are they imposing penalties as well? Did they have the same deadline thresholds that California did?
No,
I think
No, and-
California is the first.
yeah, and I
Really?
also
They have others that are going through in 22. And then I think there's some are even as far out as 23 and 24, when it's like you need to have a plan set up at this point in time.
I'd also think there's not a lot of the states have gone the mandate route that California does. That a lot of them have created like, oh, here's our state run option, but they're not forcing people to do it the way California is. Not
JD,
all of them. Yeah.
If I try to throw a logical brain on the types of businesses that have north of 100 that have yet to comply, knowing the way California is tracking who's north of 100, the restaurant industry has been slammed in California
Ooh.
with what's gone. Those are going to be the businesses that are going to be hit first with these fines, and it's going to be an uproar.
You're like it. I love this. You're like almost getting
dude.
political here. Like, imagine your restaurant. You went through all this COVID crap. They shut your restaurants down, and now you get a $50,000 bill in the mail from the freaking
Well,
government.
Don't forget though, like a couple of things. I would say not just restaurants, hospitality. Like that's been probably the biggest area, but Chad, you're talking restaurants. There's not a lot that have 100 people. They have multiple locations, but the control group rules don't run in CalSavers, so you can do by EIN. So that might save a couple.
Well,
of those
by
folks.
how they're tracking, control group do run in CalSavers, but they're not tracking it on the back end
Right.
because the government doesn't know which of these businesses are part of a controlled group or not. But it is the client's responsibility to make that determination. But Mark, I beg to differ because it's going to the DE9 and they're looking at the average of the prior 4 quarters. That is not an acrosin.
What
What does it
I'm
stand
not
for?
sure. Yeah.
They're essentially looking at the average of
gotta
those
look that
4
up.
quarters, and with holiday boom for restaurants and who they've hired, with restaurants needing to comply with not having people indoors but doing a lot of orders going out and deliveries, I think you're going to find that groups are maintaining 50 employees but are breaching 100 on their DE9.
I'm just gonna
definitely
keep hitting
seen-
it. On
No,
that.
he's right, Mark.
Yeah.
I just looked it up.
We've
more
seen a
fun.
lot of
Guys.
growth within the restaurant side of things for this reason. And so the last, call it 3 quarters of last year, we saw maybe 4x or so restaurants on our platform because of stuff like this, where it is affecting them. And if it's not the over 100, the under 50 or over 50 is going to go through in
Right.
6 months time. So it's coming down the line anyways.
Right.
This stuff's
But-
going to get a lot more intense. Like there's going to be a lot less of these 100 plus, but when you get in these other 2 groups, there's going to be a lot of these penalties coming in the mail. And so it's going to be interesting. So
Restaurant
keep
groups
our-
are such a tough.
Well, why do you
Group.
think at this point, why do you think that companies over 100 aren't offering a retirement plan or haven't done the CalSavers side of things yet?
It's funny you ask because that's the next subject we're going to head towards.
Well, good segue.
Let's get straight in. That was a perfect segue. You're made for this
You
show.
did forget one headline though. Diane mentioned it in the chat bar a little bit, just to mention it because we're keeping so close eye on the Nirvana baby.
Goodness.
They refiled.
Happened?
There's
Oh,
another.
Jesus.
There's
Nirvana
another
baby
lawsuit.
God.
refiled again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
I actually skipped
Thanks,
one
Mark.
in the sake of time. There's also a new Transamerica. Trans Am came out with a new small employer solution. Brands popped up there, but we'll talk about it another time. Let's move on. Coverage. When I listen to some of the human interest kind of figureheads on different podcasts and stuff, a common theme is, hey, we started this company because of this issue, coverage gap. So give me the kind of corporate take for all our audience and for us here today. Like, how do you view that? Like, what is the coverage gap? What's gone wrong? And how do you think human interest is here to solve it?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure that the marketing team is on. And so I definitely have to answer it as the corporate world wants me to. But no, I think that originally human interest started to make sure that people had access to a retirement plan because there were a lot of people that just didn't have access, whether it was too expensive or too complex or for whatever reason, people didn't want to offer it for their employees. And so the biggest area of the market that we saw that didn't have this coverage was in the small and medium-sized businesses. A lot of the industries like we were just talking about that have been vastly underserved for the past however many years, that people just didn't think that they didn't think the employees were going to actually be using their retirement plan if offered one. We're kind of seeing the opposite on our platform today. And so the coverage gap is that there are so many small and medium-sized businesses out there that just don't offer a retirement plan. And it's really the only way for people to save for retirement. It's a pretty big travesty. And so what our mission is to make it easier and make it extremely approachable for people to set up and start saving in a retirement plan. And so we're trying, yeah, go ahead.
No, I feel like that you nailed the two, which if I start to pick on a disruptor, I'm not picking specifically on human interest right now. It's kind of this group. The two big ones that everyone says is stopping small employers from having plans is cost and fees, right? It's too expensive for them. And then the next one is too much work, right? The administrative burden. Those seem to be the top two. And now here I go in kind of dick mode a little bit, but the fees at human interest, the fees at other disruptors, which by the way, I'm a fee guy. Like I like fees. You guys should charge money for your services. And the rates you charge that I see that the hard dollar cost the employer are very similar to what these small businesses have faced when I was selling them plans 15, 20 years ago, when Chad was selling them 10 years ago, and Chad sells them today. Like the employer has always looked at that kind of cost. And so there's a conversation I want to have instead of a rip on human interest. And Eric here is your fees, Eric, are very similar to the fees that they've faced all along in terms of hard dollar costs. So when you go to a 15-person firm and human interest wants to charge them a hard dollar, and God bless you, you should. Yeah. It's the same stuff we've been selling them since before human interest and Captain 401 even existed. So instead of picking on you, Chad, this fee, whether it's $2,400 a year, $200 a month, $150 a month, is this too big of a hurdle for these small businesses to get over to start these plans? Because it seems to have been historically, or at least everyone says it is.
No, but we're feeding that information to the average client, right? We're telling them they need tax credits to start a plan because it's expensive. That's why you need tax credits. The truth is it's not that expensive, and it is a deductible expense even before the tax credit came about. Mm-hmm. But whether you're talking, and I think human interest and many of the disruptors are 120 per month, so call it 1,500 a year. Yep. And somewhere in the range of $40 to $60 per employee per year.
Right.
Yep. We're right now, we're $1,750 and $45 per. We've been less than that for many, many years. Like we're right in that same ballpark.
You also sell admin for 1,000 flat.
We
Let's
do.
not, I don't even want to
But
pick
I
on.
don't want to go down that path.
No, no, either do
I
I.
just want to go down the path of that cost, JD, is not the reason why business owners are not making a decision to set up a plan. It
Well,
might be
I-
what they think because that's what we're feeding them.
Eric, I'm going to set you up for your thoughts here, but I also want to give the dirty side of it. In my career early on, when I was selling, back when this industry was more evil, we would sell startups for zero costs for record keeping. Like record keepers did because they had asset base, zero hard dollar costs. So the only fee you had was if it was going to go bundled, it was a very minimal one, or if it was going with a TPA. I mean, TPAs were as low as $1,200 or $1,500. So my point is, Eric,
Mark,
help me. Does that shock you?
No,
And-
it definitely does not shock me. I think that there is a value in a price, and I don't think that the cost has necessarily been the reason why people are not saying that or not starting a plan either. I think that it's the overwhelming idea that it's going to be very complex and very difficult to start, and it's going to take a few months to do. And so it's a cost
That's the next one.
plus plus I have to deal with this thing for the next however many years I'm offering this. And it's going to be every payroll run, I got to deal with it. And every end of year, I got to deal with all these extra, notices that I got to deal with. And so I think it's the combination of, maybe the cost is worrisome up front, but then it's the administrative tasks after that maybe say somebody doesn't want to offer that plan anymore. And, by the way, I don't know if people are actually going to be using it. If I even offer it, are they going to use it? And so
Yeah, fair.
I think people get these ideas in their head and we're
We
showing
feed
it.
them, Eric.
Yeah.
we're
the
giving
individual
them those
says that,
ideas.
Sure.
Eric kind of pivoted away from the cost, which I think is good. It's kind of like what DeCenso said. It's really not about fees. I would just love for the whole disruptor community to stop waving the flag of low cost, because it's kind of a spit in the face of the industry as a whole. And the reality is that, and this is not a human interest, the reality is that they're not that much cheaper. I mean, people run
If
around
any.
talking about
Well,
half the price, a third of the price.
I'll-
I go to your website and you're referencing 401k benchmarking and a 25 person, $250,000 plan, which 401k benchmarking does not have advisor fees in it. Okay. It's taking an average of actively managed funds. I mean, give me the difference. What do you think the fair reduction is?
So what we're not necessarily saying that we are the lowest cost provider, and we're not trying to be the lowest cost provider that's out there. I think that we do have some other disruptors, as you keep calling them, out there that's what they're saying. What we typically say is that we are affordable. We are affordable for a small business to offer a retirement plan.
Well, not you. I meant in general, the guidelines of the world that they're coming in here saying, hey, this industry's broken. And the first words out of their mouth are, one of the reasons it's broken is it costs too much. And I just want to state for the record, that's kind of bullshit in my mind. When it's real apples to apples, that's not the case. Are there expensive ones? Sure.
Time out. Those are two different points to debate. Does it cost too much, or are the disruptors less expensive enough?
Well, it definitely doesn't cost too much.
I think it's hard for business owners to find the fair cost, though, because they don't know what they should be paying. And so we do see benchmarks all the time when people are paying a crap ton in fees because they don't know what they should be paying. And so it's not, I understand that there are a lot of options out there that are reasonably priced, but there are definitely people that are getting charged way too much today still.
That is very true. And that's the problem I have, though, is that we keep feeding that beast that people are overpriced. If I looked at the percentage of the marketplace, in my opinion, that is out of whack, and when I say out of whack, let me say you're talking about a 60% variance from what would be a reasonable fee. If I looked at the percent of market that is out of whack, I would say it's less than 10% now.
Well, Chad,
that
I
was
don't even
different back in the day.
I've spent my entire career wondering how record keepers even keep the lights on offering what they do for startup and small plans. So I take direct opposition with you guys. I don't think it's too expensive. That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking mid-market. We're not talking large market. We're talking micro and startup plans. And I think the services that record keepers have provided for the I mean, I don't want to put a number on it, but the 75 bips or the 80 bips or whatever it is to
Mark.
bring on a plan that has zero assets. Oh, bips, shit.
I think so.
Isn't fair. Okay, Eric went to the next number two one, which is administrative burden. And I've heard you all talk about the paperwork and the weeks that it takes to get set up. And I made fun of you in the poem for the 30 minutes or less. Usually when you talk administrative burden, some of the first things that come out of disruptors are payroll feeds, and syncing up with the payroll.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing that for 10 years.
You've been doing what for 10 years? Integrating into the payroll?
360 integration with payroll companies is nothing new to the retirement plan industry.
What we have done, which is new, is completely payroll agnostic. We've gone to somewhere around 150, and that number is growing by the day as true 360 integrations. And so that's what's different is we don't have 10 payrolls that we're plugging into. We have 150 right now.
Gone bigger.
You're doing that. Let me make sure I understand. So that you're doing that by getting a client login and hoping that the payroll provider has an open API, and you're writing language essentially to pull the data from the client login. Thanks, Mark. You're not actually creating an integration relationship with that payroll provider as a whole.
Well, some
You're
they
getting
are.
access to the data.
We
I
are.
don't think so, JD.
We are doing both of those things. It depends on the payroll provider, with what they want to do with us.
So there's about, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say there's maybe 30 to 35 payroll providers that have the bandwidth or the clientele that you would even be interested in creating a relationship for. So there's another 115 in that example that you're saying, well, we're not going to build something that integrates with them. We're going to build something that extrapolates that data from them. So we're going to build essentially a communication that pulls that data out. There's no way you've created 360 by partnering with the brass at those businesses with 100.
This is kind of Eric's job, I believe. This is kind of his zone, right? So yeah.
So I do not work with the payroll partners directly. That is a counterpart of mine on the payroll side of things that does craft those partnerships and build those integrations. We have an integrations team, and what we found is that it's a general amount. Once you cross over a threshold of number of companies and joint clients, then the payroll companies are willing to do it because it saves them having to deal with their clients asking for this information as well. And so it makes things easier for everybody as part of the relationship. And so we have found that people are willing to do it. Agreed that it's not 150 where we have the full 360. But there is a growing number that are willing to do it based on the demand from their clients. A lot of people have to battle with the ADPs and the paychecks where they're doing everything. And,
how many?
Shit. Man, that's a bummer.
Hey, and Chad, before you go, I want to let Eric know this is less of a debate of me because I remember this industry's blood runs through my veins, right? You're talking about someone who grew up in this industry. I work alongside these record keepers, these financial advisors. I'm clearly passionate about this. So I would love this conversation today to be, it's not so much me trying to attack the disruptor, but to learn a little bit from your perspective. And I'm hoping to kind of open your guys' eyes a little bit too, to some of the reality of the way I see it. But in terms of 360 payroll, my only point was, if you're taking it up to scale and making lots more relationships and really tripling down on that, then kudos to you and kudos to any disruptors that are doing that. My only point is, this is not new. This is not something special. We're all aware of it. We were talking about it before Captain 401 even existed. We were talking about payroll feeds on a 360 level. Now, I think our industry has failed to continue to push that, because we won't talk about this today, but I will warn you, be careful. Just because you have a 360 payroll feed does not mean that you have quality data when it comes to running tests and things of that nature. The data can still be flawed unless someone is really auditing that. And the person that needs to audit it has to be a very fucking intelligent, experienced retirement plan person, not just someone in HR, I'll drink for that, and not just someone at payroll. So be very careful. Paperwork, contracts, tell us about, and I won't attack you, tell us about getting it set up in 30 minutes or less, and then we'll see if the boys have any questions for you on that.
Yep, definitely. So the way that it works is the plan sponsor will receive an onboarding link, and they can enter in a lot of that company information. We set up, and then they schedule time with our implementation managers who walk them through the rest of that process to set up plan documents, decide on plan design. And so we do have quite a few capabilities and options during that plan design setup. And so we walk them through that process with the advisor and figure out what makes the most sense for them and that business. And then they set it up and going. We do a couple of payroll deposits to make sure that it works back and forth. And then if it's a startup plan, it does take as fast as a couple of weeks to get going on our platform at times. It's really how quickly do they want to go through and complete the company information and complete the plan design call.
As a third-party administrator,
Sorry, go ahead, JD.
as a third-party administrator who, and these three guys sitting here at the bar with us, spend a lot of their time looking at census, sitting down with small businesses, right? Because that's the space they work in, and adding that counsel to kind of get them to the best design. Because we all know the client doesn't understand this stuff. Do we have plug and play easy versions, kind of defaults that can get designed quickly? I guess I think the answer would be yes. But how do you guys feel about this, Justin, Chad, and Mark? I mean, this is kind of your area.
Can you do it? Yes. Can you do it well? No. I mean, if you're just doing a 30-minute setup, you're not consulting with the client to figure out what's best for them by any means. And if you say you are, then you're lying. But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, yeah, maybe a safe harbor match, that's going to be the appropriate fit, maybe. But anything beyond that, there's no way.
Or they
the
make
client
mistakes.
does not know what's going on.
Or they make some.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
it's
yeah. Oftentimes they're longer than 30 minutes, sure. But it's not leaving them hanging out to dry. But we do have people that they know exactly what they want, and they have an advisor that's helping them guide them through that process. And so it makes it all just happen pretty quickly there. And so the plan design call is pretty quick.
Yeah.
Hesitation, sure.
If the advisor and knows their shit and has taken them through every part of the process like we do,
yeah,
in the consult phase, then yes, you can write a doc that quick.
Justin, the advisor works with us first, takes our information, and then goes there.
Yes, that's what happens.
I'm joking.
JD, what I was going to say is mistakes. It's not necessarily mistakes. Like I think and I'm speaking for human interest now, I think that the thought probably is the vast majority of plans don't need cross-tested that we're bringing in. So we don't need to consult on cross-testing. Right. The vast majority of plans don't need to carve out different groups for eligibility. So we don't need to consult in that. So we can create this funnel that's super small and narrow at the bottom and set up a plan. Now, does it work for the majority? Only you would know that. What I know in my relationship with the disruptors, the plans that we bring over are always written with very basic eligibility. I'm okay with that. They're always written with pro rata profit sharing with no accrual requirements, usually maybe safe harbor accrual requirements being 500 hours, no end of year. Reason being is it creates some efficiencies for testing. Okay for that again, but we're involved in that relationship now because the client's saying, well, I want to put some more money away. And we can't do it with these disruptors because they're telling us it's super expensive.
I think
advisors telling we can be more creative.
I think we also need to put ourselves and learn a little bit from the human interests of the world. We're kind of old school 401k nerds.
Sure as shit.
And we're very prideful of the complication and the design and the professionalism, but we cannot be blind to what the consumer wants. And if the consumer wants to hop on a computer and be asked, do you want your eligibility to be 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months? And they think they can handle that question, or the little wizard can help them determine this or that, or get some support. And they can click, 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 and pop out a safe harbor match with basic provisions that's airtight. I don't think there's all evil and bad there. I think there's some positive, and maybe we can learn a little bit from that.
Well, I think the idea is that sometimes that's what works. It's not a one size fits all approach though. It's if that is what you want to do and you go through and you click the setup links and you go through and answer those questions with some guidance involved, then you can do it. However, we also have that implementation manager who helps them out and does ask those questions. And so it's not like every single plan on our platform is set up in 30 minutes or less.
That is, to me, two things real quick, Justin. I see you wanted to talk. The first is that's the art of being a consultant. Is I'm not implementing a plan. I'm guiding the client to the end road that I know they need to get to, because I already know whether or not cross-tested is right for them. I already know whether or not age weighted is. I've looked at their data.
Wow, Chad's so controlling.
And I need to get them there, and I need them to, so I can't just ask them questions. I need to lead them. Secondarily, and Crystal just made this point in the chat room, this is one of my issue with the disruptors, JD, and even with the bundled providers. I don't see any circumstance in which pro rata should be written into a document, because I can write cross-tested and I can run pro rata. I can give everybody the same percentage under that, but with cross-testing, I can at least try to create some favorability to my owners, my executives, create some grouping there. And so when I get these constant docs from the bundled providers that are all pro rata with safe harbor accrual, what I realize is that they did zero consulting on what the right type of profit sharing is. They just asked the client to check the box.
Yeah,
fair enough.
We do, fair enough, for sure. The good thing about human interest is that we have those options available. And so I hear you that
well, everyone has the options. Eric. We're all on the same docs. It's about counsel, you know, and consulting people. I was actually defending you here though, because Chad and I have had this fight for years, where Chad can get very nerdy and very intellectual with his design, and I always come back with, does the client understand this design? And are they going to understand it in year 2, in year 4, in year 6? Or are you just creating potential problems down the line? And this is where I'll be of two minds here. This is where I also have a little bit of problem with the narrative of, and it's not just a disruptor narrative. It's surely not a human interest narrative, just yours. It's also a pooled employer plan narrative. And I've talked about it ad nauseum on this show. I do not like teaching prospective clients that this shit is easy, because they have a job to do. And the more you run around telling people that it's a piece of cake and there's not a whole lot for them to do, and it's point, click, click, you're fucking up the whole system. You know, that's not how it should work. Now, maybe Jason
they're
Lee.
Disruptors. We want to fuck up the system. And I agree with that side of it. Get in there. Let's be open to change. I agree with JD though. I don't like telling clients, we'll take care of everything. Don't worry about it. You just have to sign our paperwork. That's giving the wrong perception of what setting up an employee benefit that is tied to the IRS and Department of Labor. It should entail responsibility. Do what is right.
Guess what, Eric? We're gonna play a fun game, everyone's favorite game, and then we're gonna come back with a subject matter that is going to tell you about something that I think you guys have actually crushed it at, and that we could learn a ton from you. So there'll be fun times for Eric after this.
Yeah,
game.
let's come on. What the hell is going on with this?
Nice.
Eric, did you know what you were getting yourself into before?
I did know what I was getting myself into. Okay. I have been a fan of you guys for a while. I've been in the industry on both sides, the traditional side and the newer type of side. And so I did know what I was getting myself into, and I'm okay with it. So
he's being a great sport. He's being a great sport.
Well, again, whatever sins he committed through human weakness.
We're trying to create insight for folks. You guys are clearly crushing it. You're getting money.
Not. No, you're not.
You're doing a good job. We love the fact that we're creating more plans for people and businesses that need them.
Exactly.
I also feel good of it as a sales director, because we're going to be getting a lot of those plans in a year or 2.
Wow.
Real good about it.
Wow.
We're taking the first step. We're getting them covered.
That was the biggest dick. Chad just out-dicked me big time.
I saved that up for like 2 weeks. I've been thinking about using
Eric, that was harsh.
This is good. This is good even thinking about it. But the good thing that we've been having is that a lot of people need a retirement plan. that's at the end of the day, a lot
Mhm.
of people need access to a retirement plan. And it all comes back to that same thing. There's a lot of different providers that are out there that everybody can win. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make it easy and remove some of those barriers. And same thing that you guys do, we just go about it in a different way. That's the difference to it, is you guys help consult and guide. Not that we don't, but we do that while making it easy and approachable for somebody that has never had a retirement plan before. Like that's
There is a ton of good that comes out of that, right? And you can't argue that you guys are bridging a gap that needed to be there, because
For sure.
way too many
Agree with that
clients do
statement.
not want to go through the complexities of what we do. They just want it done for
Well,
them.
no.
And you
Time
guys
out,
can
time
hold
out.
on.
Oh,
Hold on.
no,
No,
no.
shut your
Hot
mouth.
button.
I'm finally talking. You shut your mouth and sit there.
Yeah.
All right. I really want to know what you have to say, though.
We are not more complex. You know what the
No.
fuck I'm gonna say.
Yes, we can be. We can come across that way. You can't argue that, right?
That's
if
the narrative
if a
that we are
client
creating.
Shut up, Chad.
if a client wants to not do shit, they're going to gravitate towards something like that, versus when we come in and show them all their options and what their responsibilities are. So they are bridging a gap to get more companies participating in plans, I would say.
I'm kind of agreeing with Chad. I honestly think that what Eric and Human Interest and guidelines these companies got going for them is, I think, Eric, you and I and me representing like the industry as a whole, we're kind of doing a lot of the same things.
You're trying to. Absolutely.
You guys are just a lot better at making these little headlines on how you describe it. Because when you say low cost, we're low cost too. When you say avoid administrative burdensome, what do you think a TPA, a third-party administrator, does? Damn it, check. No,
that was not. He said
that's
two
what we
more
do
letters.
is take that work off your desk. So when we talk about payroll fees, that's what our industry works on. I think we're all working on those same things. And that's why I get pissy, is when I see you all, and I'll be nice to you now, like brand it so well, I kind of sit there and in my mean scowl and go, they're not doing anything fucking different than we're doing. Why are they running around talking on podcasts like they somehow are the Uber to taxis when they're doing the same shit we're doing? They're just simplifying it here, doing this or that. Anyways, so I just think you're better marketers at that shit. That's what I think. Mark, what's the name of the game?
Oh, let Eric talk. He needs to talk.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say, nope, Eric, rebuttal, please.
Yeah, I think that understood. I think, look, the end goal is all the same. We want people to get a retirement plan and get it going. All agreed there. Under the hood, proprietary record keeping platform. It's integrated with 150 plus providers. It is guided through technology. And so we're able to keep costs nice and low for everybody. And so I hear you that we do things similarly, and we're doing a lot of the same things that have been happening. I think we do it a little bit different, obviously, or else we wouldn't exist as a company, and companies wouldn't think the same about that as well.
I don't know about
No,
that.
they
I
are.
think we can talk about that'll actually parlay well into the next subject, which is the nice one. But because I
I've been
think,
waiting for this for
Yeah.
5 minutes. You said nice like 5 minutes ago. What the hell are we
Mark,
doing here?
Mark, rock me a good and solid lamer game.
All right, Eric, you said you apparently watched our show. Are you familiar with the lamer game?
I am familiar with the lamer game.
Oh, all right. No
what-
explanation needed.
What millennials might call hot or not, I believe, is how it could be described.
Hey, I'm a millennial, okay?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. I always like to preface these a little bit with, I kind of bartered in our last show to have the show retired. You know, I feel like it's been going because of
Not
me,
gonna happen.
downhill a little bit. So then JD texted me last night, of course, with, put this together. And, I tried my best, but guys, just bear with me on this one. Okay. All right. First question. And Eric, I'll come to you first. Like a lot of people are doing this right now, start the new year off fresh, try to get healthy. Lamer game, dry January.
I'm going to, especially because we're on Retireholics right now, definitely lame. I'm all for personal goals and setting, your sights on something for whatever period of time you have. But I don't know if just cutting things out for a month is necessarily the answer to, your holiday worries.
Got it.
Deep. I like that.
JD.
I probably have coronavirus and I'm still drinking. So obviously lame.
Justin.
Nobody likes a quitter, Mark.
Oh boy. Chad.
Oh, I'm surprised you asked me. You know my answer. I mean, you could tone it down a little bit, but why give up something that brings so much joy?
I think
Yeah.
this might be the very first lamer game question where we need an answer from Mark.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna take some heat for this because I'm partaking in dry January at this moment in time.
Wow, you finally admitted it.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
You actually admitted it. How does the chat bar feel about this?
I don't know.
All that shit we've talked about are on guests that don't drink. Like, wow.
And here's Mark. Hey, I will say this. I'm flying out to Cali at first week of February, and it will be Mark's reunion into drinking again. And I'm super excited to see how hammered he gets in our
the
first
video.
night together.
Get the video.
It's gonna be
I
bad.
will.
All right, next question. Moving on. Nothing to see here. All right. Candles. They're pretty cool, right? They make rooms smell nice. They're nice mood setters, if you will. My question to you are candle scents, specifically the smell of the candle, ones that like the scent is intended for a particular season and that season is past. Example, peppermint mocha, right? It's a Christmas theme. Lamer game, burning those scented candles far into the next year after those seasons have passed.
This is a very detailed one.
It was.
These are
It
deep.
was. Yeah. I have a gingerbread candle burning, so that's made perfect sense. Eric.
Game. Yeah, I'm game. I have no issues with that. If it smells nice, it's good.
JD.
Well, I mean, what would the alternative be? You pack it up for next season? Yeah. Okay. I'm talking to myself. But no, you need to move on from Christmas. You had that time. It's the same way you take the tree down, you take the lights off your house. Hopefully my neighbor's watching this. You take the lights off your house. It's fucking January.
Gosh.
And you should be putting the candles away and moving on to something a little more appropriate for the new season.
Yeah. Alfonso just asked a good question. What's the January scent? That's a good one.
Man.
Justin, you look like a candle burner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm texting back and forth with human interest rep right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what we're talking about. What's
Well,
going
then
candles, they're great.
Oh, wow.
Are they?
Wow,
But
Chad.
holiday candles, yeah, they got to go away after December for sure. Any other candles
No.
throughout the year?
I'm game. Use it. You like Eric said, you like it, burn it.
Burn
All
one
right.
down, man.
Smells so good.
Next question, Eric. Whether it's yourself or someone else when you're on a virtual meeting, Zoom call, WebEx, whatever, and the person's very handsy when they talk. Is that lame or game?
Handsy, like
On
Yeah.
the Zoom.
On a Zoom. Interesting.
I'm totally,
Oh,
yeah.
I just realized today I had, I don't know, 5 or 6 Zoom, and I don't know why it took me so long to realize I'm incredibly handsy. And that's why right now I'm like literally sitting on my hands because it actually annoyed me. So
somebody should play that HR video again for you.
Yeah.
I like this guy. I didn't want to.
Oh,
but I
there
do.
you go.
Game.
Let's
Yeah.
look at
Why
some of the
would you have
common
an issue
examples
with
of sexual
doing
harassment in a workplace?
a little bit of this?
yeah. JD.
I like the question from the chat bar, which is always, I'm with him. Like, just don't say goodbye. This is a classic Zoom.
Oh,
All
I
right,
love doing that.
Bye, everyone. And
Love it.
I'm guilty. I'm doing this lame cool guy one when it ends. Like, even with the client's big fiduciary review meeting, I'm like, okay, see you, everyone. See ya. Peace. Like, there's got to be a better way to end a Zoom. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say lame on the hand gestures.
Justin.
I got to say game for sure.
Are you
You're trying to
handsy?
explain
Are you a
stuff and you're
handsy
like,
person?
hey, We put the HCEs in this grouping and the
Ooh.
NHCEs in this
Oh,
grouping.
Oh yes,
Oh,
Jeff's getting hammered tonight.
Double dip right
Damn
there.
It's just so much more helpful
I'm
when you're
in.
trying to communicate over a screen.
Chad.
I'm in, especially with the wave goodbye every time.
All right. Well,
All day.
you know what they say with my mug full of tea.
You know what they say.
What they say.
Mark, I was going to take your secret to the grave, man.
Yeah.
I did
Mark,
not expect
you
you,
know
to
what's-
disclose
You know what's
that.
you know what's funny, everyone out there, is that's a serious moment when Mark writes his boss a serious email and it says, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I just want to get your take on this. Like, I'm trying to be healthier in January." And he's literally like on his hands and knees, metaphorically speaking, in an email, like, "I'm kind of not going to drink January. Like, is that kind of okay or is it not okay?" And I'm thinking on my other end to be like, "Fuck you. You got to drink. It's the show." And then I'm thinking human resources may not be okay with the fact that I mandate drinking alcohol of my employees.
In addition to that, too, I should preface it a little bit more that I was challenged against somebody in a weight loss challenge, and I don't usually do that kind of stuff, but it was for me. Like, I think drinking can definitely influence that for me. So if I cut that out, I'm a good chance I could win this thing. So it's important. I'm competitive. So
I think it was a record-keeping provider that challenged you to that.
Man.
I promised good sport Eric here a nice little area where I actually pat them on the back for some good work. Human interest. You guys have built all these partnerships, and I think in the after show, maybe we'll get into talking a bit about how many plans you guys have gotten to date. But I would say when you first came out, I was pretty pessimistic, and I didn't really, because you guys didn't come out very advisor gung ho. I know you've shifted that a bit, and we can talk about that in the after show too. But what you did was you brought on a ton of plans, and the way I see it is you really partnered with the payroll providers, the human resources firms, the Zenefits, the benefits firms. And remember when I was giving you shit earlier and I was saying, well, that's nothing new because, we could have done that 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and we tried, but we have failed miserably as an industry to make these cohesive partnerships work. And when I say make them work, I don't mean necessarily the feed of the data. I mean the sales. The actual sales partnerships, and you all have crushed it. So give me a bit of your perspective on that. I'm assuming it has a lot to do with your current role and how you see the success you had and how you see it going forward, because we have got a lot to learn.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've talked about the payroll relationships, and that's the key go-to-market strategy for what we've been up to. I mean, we've nailed the relationships, and I think a lot of it is that the payroll companies know that they have to find a solution for their clients as well. And so they've been working hand in hand with us because they know that their clients are asking for this. And so they work well with we call them partner account managers that are out there in the field working closely with the payroll reps across the country. And so it's a really nice little handoff there where they care about, they get asked about retirement plans and what they can do with that. And they need to be able to compete and offer this benefit as part of their solution as well. And so we're the perfect plug-in there for them. And so that's why it's been working.
When you say that they have to, are you referring to are you referring to paychecks and the one I can't name?
Indeed. Yes.
Okay.
So that, but also if you're trying to work with the client as a consultant, as you guys mentioned earlier, it's these payroll consultants, they want to help answer their problems for their clients. And a common question that comes up in that process is who do I use my 401k with? And so they have that answer when they know that it's human interest. And so we care a lot about working with those payroll partners for that reason specifically.
And I feel like we know that paychecks and automatic data processing have their own offerings, right? What you guys have done better than anyone else is you've been able to go after the payroll provider and get them to pitch the service. I've created, JD, remember the group in Texas?
Yeah.
The group in NorCal. Like, I have really gotten deep into a couple of different payroll providers that are bringing on a lot of clients every year. And I've showed them a strategy where we'll take on all the work. I'm pitching kind of what you guys are doing, but I can't get their people to talk about 401k. I can't get their people to set up the conversation to get me involved. And that's what you guys have really done well, is you've taken those payroll providers that don't have their own solution and you've gotten them to give you the opportunity,
Right.
which nobody else in the industry has cracked.
Who are your top 2 or 3, or you don't have to say who are some of the good, we're not ranking them here, but who are some of the really good strategic partners that flow business towards human interest?
We have worked closely with Zenefits, which is a good one for us. They're payroll, but do a lot more than that as well. We've worked closely with Heartland. Some of the partner account managers that are here could probably answer it in the chat more than I could, to be honest. But Paylocity is another one that we've worked close with. So it's there's quite a few. It's all of those 150 we have some sort of relationship with. NetChecks, there you go. Thank you, Melissa. So it really depends on the region as well as where we're at and what they care about and who wants to lean in with us, because it's like you said, it's hard to get them to care about it, but some care more than others.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this path. I mean, we saw this 10 years ago.
JD,
I've
tried about as your sales director. I've tried, and I
talk about
I've
Paylocity. It seems like a natural connection, right? It's like you look at Justin and Mark, who are out there, slinging 401ks, knocking on doors of advisors, seeing plan sponsors, and then you got this payroll person who's doing the exact same thing. It's like it's a marriage made in heaven to flow business towards each other. But we've just always struggled. And I don't just mean us plan design consultants. I think the industry has never really hit that one out of the park. And then here comes Guideline with gusto, who my understanding has just fueled a shit ton of their business.
Yeah.
And here comes you guys, and I'm sitting around going, oh, watch these guys slow growth over the next 10 years, like we'll see where it's going to go. And all of a sudden I'm like, wow, no, they're really kind of chugging along. And my best assessment is, wow, they've really figured out these strategic partners a lot better than we have.
It's such a turning point in that payroll conversation that it's 401k is just so linked into payroll. It's as a business owner, when you're figuring out your payroll, that's just a question that comes up. Every single business owner that we talk to, often it's they're figuring out their payroll at a similar time as their 401k. So yeah,
sure.
That's exactly right.
I'm going to go to you first. I'm going to go to you first, Eric. Chat bar champion, and you feel free to vote for one of your coworkers. That's fine too. Who is your vote for the chat bar champion tonight?
Well, at this point, I gotta say Melissa Wallace, because she just helped me answer a question not too long ago. So it's her.
Solid. Just on.
I want to say it's everyone who got in the pineapple on the pizza debate with me in the chat for the first half of the show. But I got to go with Jason Grants again, man. He had a banger earlier. I can't remember what it was, but
Chad, is Justin doing work with Jason Grants or something? What's going on? No.
Justin just loves.
How is that possible?
Jason.
No. He could throw some stuff behind Hackler's back at us. They wouldn't know. Okay, so Grants again, Mr. Palmini.
Oh, Greg, just solid as always. Greg did well.
Are you doing work with Greg or something, Mark?
I'm actually going to say Alfonso just because he stroked my ego. I like the fact that he felt like the show was ending so quickly and he wants to hang out and have some more. So I'm going to go Alfonso, and I don't think he's made semis before.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's made semis before.
Well, that was really enthusiastic. DeCenso, I was almost going to vote for you because I know you'd lose, but then I'm like, that's a waste of time.
I had
you could put that in the chat.
There was someone named Dalia in here earlier that had one comment that blew my mind, and I loved it. She ain't here anymore. I wrote down Diane for her fired comment, but for me, it's Heidi. Heidi was in there all night long. She had good content. She was funny. Heidi was chiming in,
Okay.
and that's my vote.
Heidi it is. All right, Brandon, rock it up. We'll close this thing out. And
Can you give those to me again? My software went
Um,
sideways on me.
Jason, Greg Greenfield, Alfonso, Heidi, Melissa. I get that right?
JD, you sound like shit.
It's COVID plus some vodka and an ultra beer.
A large ultra beer.
Are you in the
Thanks.
office or at home right now, JD?
I'm at the office.
Oh,
Can't be at home.
Oh.
COVID's like floating around everywhere there.
You just sleep in there then?
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason I cannot put in Heidi's name, so I'm just gonna. She is choice 5.
Okay.
all right. Heidi is choice 5. Heidi was my vote, in case anybody was questioning that. Heidi is choice 5.
Oh, maybe
Choice
she's not
5,
here
everybody.
anymore. No, she's here.
She's here.
It just something with my keyboard. I don't know.
Heidi's gonna be like, that's gonna disadvantage me big time.
Yeah, call in a revote, Heidi.
While these votes come in, Eric, we're gonna do a little after show. You can stick around and take some more of the abuse and heat, or
Ah,
you
you
can
crushed it, Eric.
or you can bail, and then we just completely talk shit about you for like 20 minutes.
You know what? Actually, I got something else on. So I will join in on the after vote. Oh, so here I do have a poem for you guys.
Nice.
The way you started the show, I'm gonna
Love
go.
God, I like this guy.
Love it. Love it.
Do we want to announce the winner of the poll? First?
Yeah. Yes. The winner is Mrs. Choice 5. Congratulations,
Yeah,
Choice 5.
Heidi.
Heidi, you're the winner. Steven, thanks for the get better. I appreciate that. Heidi, let us know in the chat bar which mug you'd like, a Justin, a Chad, or a Mark, or a JD. And then private message me your address and we'll get that out to you. Eric, thank you so much for taking our shit. For all the human interest people out there that are getting pissed off when I was coming at you, fuck you. And for all the people that tuned in, thank you. Love you. Appreciate you. Mark, Chad,
Keep
Justin.
making this business better.
I love you like brothers, man. I love you like brothers. So,
Dude, bro.
mwah. And
Yeah. Oh, there was no nuggets tonight.
no Chad's. Maybe we can have some Chad's nuggets in the after show. You never know. Melissa, thanks for hanging out.
Can I lay it on you guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do we need to play out with
No,
a
your
song?
poem?
Yeah,
his
the poem.
poem.
Yeah, maybe the
Um,
poem should be the ending.
Yeah, maybe the
song.
poem should be the song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be
Yeah.
a nice
Call.
little
Man.
sign off here.
Good
Yeah.
call.
All
All
right,
right,
you guys.
take it away.
When types of retirement, when hopes of retirement feels forlorn, you must only look to your newest industry unicorn. With the interest of humans top of mind and an integrated platform that is truly refined, trying to improve the nation's savings gap. By working together, we'll do it in a snap. More people need access to a 401k. I appreciate the Retireholics for having me on the show today. So please raise your drinks as I offer this toast. And thank you for being such great hosts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I
man.
like it, Eric.
Don't you feel like an asshole now?
It's impossible not to like
Hold on. Very good. Very
That's
good.
right. Everybody
Thank you for that
I like it.
glorious
Thanks,
poem,
guys.
Eric. Brandon, play us out with some music and we'll head to the after show. Bada bing, bada boom.